If you're looking for the best hybrid full frame camera for the dollar, you've come to the right video. This is a camera that punches way above its weight class. New firmware makes this camera even better, and we even have a new song.
Adorama.
Lumix S5IIX.
Adorama.
Lumix S5IIX.
Adorama.
Lumix S5IIX.
Adorama.
And if you couldn't tell from that song, this video is sponsored by both Adorama and Lumix. The full-frame Lumix S5IIX and the S5IIX come stacked with features that a lot of other brands lack, like open gate, which means you can record off the entire sensor. This allows you to both reframe and post at 4K, but also easily cut vertical content out of the footage you're filming in horizontal. The IBIS is also top-notch. Even at 200 millimeters, it is beautiful. If you're using this with a lens that has OIS, like this one here, it stacks dual IS and gives you even better footage. You can also go into Boost IS if you want to make your handheld footage just feel like you're on a tripod. This here was shot handheld, but it looks like a tripod. When I picked the GH5 up for the first time, I was absolutely blown away by what they had done with the stabilization, and I'm happy that that has come into full frame mode here. Other fun Lumix facts: they made the first mirrorless camera back in 2008. And the GH1 was the first mirrorless camera to have video. And they also did the first mirrorless touchscreen with the G2. Back to the Lumix S5IIX. We've got new firmware, which means the camera is even better than the earlier reviews we would have seen at release. Some updates, the phase detect autofocus is even better now, object detection, and overall it's just a really stable system. You get incredible video features for the cost, 10-bit video, you can record direct to SSDs over USB, ProRes and all intra, raw video output, full-size HDMI, and a lot of people's favorite feature, you can shoot with your LUTs in real time in both photography and video. There's also now a Frame.io integration, which means you can send your footage, and if you're an Adobe user, you already have a 100 gigabyte account with Frame.io. Other video features, there is a built-in fan, so if you're out here in the hot sun in Tokyo, where it's 37 degrees Celsius today, no problem at all. It's also 100% humidity, and that's fine for this camera because it's moisture and dust resistant. Another huge plus for the Lumix system in general is the L-Mount Alliance. Alliance sounds very official. What it is a collective of manufacturers that are all making incredible lenses for the Lumix system, and you can get all these lenses on Adorama. Panasonic is not snubbing other lens manufacturers, and other L-Mount Alliance partners glass can be considered native glass on this camera. So if you buy like an L-Mount lens to go on your Lumix, you're not going to miss out on something silly, like you're not going to be able to do the full frames per second, or your IBIS is going to be worse. This is a very refreshing way to see a camera company run. The Lumix glass has also been engineered very well. I'll speak to the Lumix lenses we've been using on this trip. Limited focus breathing, if it even exists at all, incredible optical performance, and they're just enjoyable to use. If you're interested in anamorphic lenses, the stabilization works with anamorphic lenses and you get that nice de-squeeze in camera. We don't have an anamorphic lens with us today, and I tried to use this glass, but it didn't really give the right effect. It gives you features that seem to be left out of other camera brands' hybrid systems in order to get you to buy into their more expensive cinema line. You get features like waveform and shutter angle. Panasonic Vlog is also really nice to grade. For video, you can run the same color workflow as the higher end Panasonic cinema cameras. So if you do end up upgrading to the cinema space or just renting a camera for a job, your color workflow can work the exact same with this as a B cam. That also means that you're getting effectively a proper cinema camera. Now, I said this is the best hybrid camera for the dollar. That means it does photo and video very well. There are two versions of the Lumix S5IIX, the Lumix S5IIX, and the Lumix S5IIX. We have the X version here with us in Tokyo. The X comes with a few additional cinema features, but they're overall pretty similar. The one thing I will say about the X is that I really enjoy the blacked out logo and buttons. From a marketing standpoint, I'm very surprised that this got approved. But as an end user, I'm very happy. For photography, you get a lot of the same features that we've already talked about when it comes to video. So you're getting that incredible IBIS, great L-Mount Alliance lenses, great image quality, and also one of my favorite features, the ability to add LUTs inside your camera to your photography. So when you're shooting photos, you're seeing a very close to final version of your image. 4 JPEGs are ready to post, so if you're at a wedding or a portrait session, it's very easy to get a few photos up on social media quickly. For photography, there are also some pretty cool features like live view composite, which means you can do longer exposures and watch them come together in real time. Traditionally, with other brands, you just shoot blind and hope the photo comes out as you want. With the Lumix S5IIX and the S5IIX, you can see the image build, so there are no surprises. Another one of my favorite features, and for sure a huge selling feature for my friends that scan film, like this guy here, Panda Plush, does all my film for me, is that in high resolution mode, this camera will build those images within your camera rather than only doing that in software after you've taken the pictures. For photos, the Lumix S5 Mark II also has PreBurst, so if you're waiting for a moment to happen, you can half press the shutter and it will record the images up to 1.5 seconds before you hit the shutter, and when you do, it will record all those images for you. When it comes to what I do a lot of the time, which is wedding photography, portraits, and travel, I love the Lumix f1.8 options like this 85 1.8, which you can buy at Adorama. They're the perfect blend of quality, cost, size, and weight. When it comes down to it, that's kind of a good summary of this entire system. It's the perfect blend of quality, cost, size, and weight. A huge selection of lenses and the ability to tackle any hybrid job that you might encounter. So click through the link and get your own Lumix S5 Mark II X.